Phil Perry, I think you're muted.
Hey, Cam, I'm curious, we're hearing from Jacoby and you're sort of prescient in terms of you predicting that he would be playing better. Did you envision a turnaround for yourself over the course of the last few weeks? Because it does seem like the last 3 weeks, just in terms of you guys have won 2 games, the numbers in a lot of categories are better, have improved. Have you felt like you've grown a fair amount these last 3 weeks?
Just feel like I'm learning and it's just turning over to, good production as an offense. And that's all it is.
Was that San Francisco game a motivator for you, Cam? You told the radio station the next day, WEEI, that if you keep playing like this, the change is going to be permanent. How much has that pushed you to any gains that you've made?
I mean, yeah, 49ers game, just that performance. I wouldn't necessarily, it wasn't even just that game. It was the games leading up into it. Ever since, coming back from Corona, to be honest with you, you know, I felt stagnant in my thought process, and it wasn't the plays pre-snap production wasn't happening fast enough for me in games. I mean, did it happen in practice? Yeah, but still not fast enough. And even still now, I can get better. So each day, each week is an opportunity for me to, really hone in this offense and just do my job. And that's what it really boils down to.
Thanks, Cam.
Next question, Mike Giardi, followed by Andrew Callahan.
Hey, Cam, on that point about you saying things just weren't clear, I know you
I can't.
kind of addressed
You're
it.
low. You're low.
Oh, sorry. I'll hold it closer. You got me better now? No? Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I was just going to say, do you still rule out the idea of the COVID fog? You were just mentioning sort of that sort of haze that you might have been in when you came back from COVID. And I'm just curious, the more you think about it, is there anything to that?
No, it's nothing to it. It's just the fact that I wasn't able to do anything, for that stint while I was off, and it showed. Coming back pretty much dry, and knowing that as this offense goes, it evolves, and just the mastermind behind everything with Josh. His mind doesn't necessarily stop. Whether it's a new play, whether it's something that we were watching back in 2002. 2011, 12, he has a plethora of plays for certain defenses that he goes to, that we face, that he goes to. And, it all starts before the snap with the identifying certain things, identifying and communicating with the offensive line, with the receivers, with the running backs. And it's my job to do so. And, coming back from, when I did come back, I just felt behind. And, the production here of late is nothing to blame, more or less, than me just taking, ownership and responsibility that, I just got to be better.
And the other thing I wanted to ask you is just when you're in the huddle, I know you're a quarterback, everybody wants to throw the ball, quarterbacks want to throw the ball, but do you feel when the huddle, when the offensive line is going like they've been going and you're shoving the ball down teams' throats, can you feel that momentum and that sort of dominance in the huddle as you call another running play and get up to the line of
Oh, without a
scrimmage?
doubt. I'm a quarterback that likes to win. So I don't care if, like you said, running, throwing, whatever. I want to win. I'm here to win. Anybody that's in that huddle, they want to win too. Everybody in that locker room, they want to win too. So, we have to generate our own momentum, with not having fans or whatnot. And, that's what I would call it.
Next question, Andrew Callahan, followed by Mike Reese.
Hey, Kim, when you look at the offense's success the last 2 weeks, I'm curious how much you might feel, if at all, the sense of the team and the offense specifically finding an identity and knowing, okay, at this point we know what we're good at, we're getting better at those things, and that's driving our success.
Well, we just want to hit our keys to victory. And that's what it really comes down to. And each week it changes. But for us, for one week it may be, beat man-to-man coverage. Another week it may be we want to be the most physical and dominant team going into the fourth. Another week it may be, let's be great at situational football. Gotta have it situations. You know what I'm saying? So of course I won't tell you what this week is, but at the same time, we just have to make sure that we hit those marks and do just as coach prophesied, so to speak. And we have to thrive in those situations.
When you're first starting to hit some of those, maybe earlier in the season, I know you talked about this after the game on Sunday. Did you have a moment or kind of realizing like, hey, his hit rate on these is pretty consistent? Like whatever he's saying during the week it slowly kind of keeps materializing on Sundays.
It's not my job to ever question coaching. I don't care if he says, something pertaining to Mother Nature, something pertaining to what we need to do, something pertaining to whatever. If he says it, it's gold in my eyes and my ears. And, just like me and other players on this team, it's our job to go out and execute whatever it's called and whatever is said. We just got to take heed to it.
Thanks.
Next question, Mike Reese, followed by Megan O'Brien.
Hey, Cam, in the spirit of weekly routine, I just want you to pretend you just sat down, and I'm going to ask you this question. How are you today?
Undescribable.
And now my follow-up question is Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, that's my guy.
How would you describe your connection with him and what your matchups have been with Deshaun over the years?
This is my first time really playing Deshaun, though. Last year when the Panthers played him, I was hurt. But just for him, man, I just love the player, the person that he's grown to be. He's growing to be, not, his stock is still ascending. And just like Jacoby, Deshaun was on the foundation team, and we knew then, he was a star. How easy the ball came off his hands, how the ball, he has so much arm talent at such a young age. And I do believe he still holds all the throwing records in Georgia, the state of Georgia, if it wasn't for, I believe it's Trevor Lawrence now. But they went to the same high school, so there you have it. But at the end of the day, is a person that I just sit back, man, and admire from afar, knowing that, I know where he came from. I know, his circle, pretty close. And, he's just a person that's has a bright future in front of him. And, I look forward to Sunday's matchup.
Next question, Megan O'Brien, followed by Matt Vautour.
You kind of hit on it right there. I was going to ask you about Deshaun and the 7-on-7 camp. And really, I think, with your 7-on-7 camp, you should be a recruiter or something, because just about everybody was at that 7-on-7 camp. But I guess just to follow, did you have a nickname for Deshaun back then too, since that's been one of the things?
No, the nicknames and the nicknames kind of started when I wouldn't necessarily remember people's names. So I would, just like where I'm from, everybody got a nickname. You know what I'm saying? So that's how it is. You got Lil Head, you got Dino, you got, Spanky. You never know where it come from. It's more rare to know a person's real name from where I'm from rather than to just what they go by. So when somebody pronounces a person's whole name, like Jaquez Martin, like who is that? You know what I'm saying? Oh, that's Day Day. Oh, Day Day. Yeah, he down the hall. You know what I'm saying? So that's where it stemmed from. And as I grew around, as I lived a lot of life and going different places, I would just hand out nicknames because that's what it necessarily was to me.
Your camp, I mentioned all the people who went through the 7-on-7. I mean, you have 2 and 3 in your own locker room. You're going up against one. How does that make you feel, just that you've been a part of watching all these guys develop and evolve in their playing careers?
Man, listen, one thing about me, I don't take no credit for, I let a lot of people kind of, try to control, my narrative, but yet deep down inside, I know people who really know me knows where my passion is. You can say whatever you want about me, but for you not to have known me, that's irrelevant. And my job as a humanitarian, my job as a human is to give back, to the world as much as I can and use my platform in a positive way. So that's what we've done with my foundation in Atlanta and Charlotte, and do plan on doing it in Boston. When this COVID is lifted, is to find, the needs of the community and use the game of football to enhance it as much as possible if it's an opportunity to do so.
Matt Vitor, followed by Mark Daniels.
Cam, when you have all of those guys that do look up to you and that do think of you as a mentor or as a role model, is there pressure? Do you put pressure on yourself to hold yourself to a certain standard in terms of the way you carry yourself, especially when things are tough on and off the field, knowing that those guys are watching, that people, not and maybe even your own children, that you're kind of modeling something that beyond just yourself?
What you mean, tough off the field?
Well, I'm saying, like, if you have a bad game, the way that you carry yourself and the way you present yourself, or if when you're going through an injury or something like that, when you're dealing with something that's not a happy moment and so forth, knowing that those guys are watching you and that they might have to deal with something similar themselves, do you think about how you're presenting for people that look up to you at the same time?
Oh, without a doubt. I know there's a lot of people who live vicariously through me, and some of those people I have met, those are some people that I know, those are some people that I may not even meet. You know what I'm saying? And it's also, I don't have to look far for people who I know hold a lot of responsibility on what I do, how I act, my energy, you know, and that's in my kids and my children. So, on a daily basis, you know, they don't necessarily know now. The older ones do, but they still act cool about it. But I have to always be conscientious about my thoughts and what I say, how I act, because life goes on. And as I mature as an adult, as I mature as a father, as I mature as a son, as I mature as a brother, as I mature as a teammate, and the best player that I could possibly be, you start understanding, certain situations and eliminating, bad mistakes.
Was there a time that you realized that it started to hit you how much other people were watching what you did in a sort of role model way?
Oh yeah. It didn't take me long to be in the NFL until I found that out. I didn't understand why people would make so much of a deal that I didn't like to lose. I still don't like to lose. And if I was on the sideline laughing, I think they would have made a big deal. I learned very quickly that no matter what and who you are or what you do, people are gonna say something about it, and they don't even necessarily know. So as far as my GAF meter, it's really low when it comes to people who really don't know me. So, I just make sure that I use my platform in a positive way, and make sure that I'm always holding myself to a high standard first, and then, everything else is pretty much things that I can control.
Thank you.
I'm just going to take two final questions here. We're going to go Mark Daniels and Dan Roach. Go ahead, Mark.
Hey, Cam. On the 7-on-7 tournaments, do you remember when that first started, and what made you do that and want to help out those kids?
Why? It's because it's simple. I'm not about to sit up here and proclaim I'm the most thuggish, ruggish quarterback in this NFL, but a lot of people where I'm from do not have the opportunities that I have now. So for me to, like I said, use my platform, for me to use my, you know, my reach, so to speak, from the people who are, spend advertisement money on me and things like that, I would want to always give back to the community, because they are Jacoby Myers, they are Justin Fields, there are, Deshaun Watsons, there are George Pickens, Bo Nixes, The list goes on. Jaden Hazelwoods, all those are 5-star, future NFL stars and are NFL stars now. So, they all just need an opportunity. And when I could just remember growing up, nobody really did that for me, back in Atlanta. I always had people I wanted to look up to, and I did look up to the Michael Vicks, the Adam Pac-Man Jones, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, if I didn't have the opportunity to go to those camps when they had them, or, it just wasn't in my area where I stayed. So, now I just try to make it as accessible as possible for me to, get a person who may not have a ride or whatever their circumstances may be, just to give them an opportunity to play the game of football, which I love, and I know a lot of people do love, and that may be their way out, of their circumstances. Doesn't matter if it's a Division I school, doesn't matter if it's a school at all, or junior college. Opportunity is an opportunity.
And last question, Dan Roach.
Hi, Cam. Just a thought on what you guys have been able to do with the last several weeks, with the wins, but not only that, but stacking practices together. How important is that, and has that been heading into Sunday, and to kind of keep the train rolling that you guys have going on right now?
I just think it's very important that, we do the small things right, just as we have been, just to give psychological confidence. Because when you see a person make a catch, when you see the proper reads, when you see, a block being made, it just gives you that mental confidence knowing that when that play is called in a game, a la Jacoby, Jacoby was throwing, dimes all last week when given the opportunity when that play came up. So it's no mistake to nobody that when you see it in the game, what happened, Coach Bill and even Josh riddles it all the time. Practice execution turns into game reality. And, sometimes that's not the necessary case for certain people who have more of a mind approach to the game, quarterbacks or the defensive signal callers or whoever making audibles on the defense. You just have to be sharp pre-snap and post-snap before anything else can get started. So that's been the mentality since day one here. It's been taking guys probably, a while to kind of understand that. And I think more guys now understand how important practice is, not just practicing, but having great practice execution. So everybody has confidence going into the games.
And a quick nickname follow-up. Do you ever add a nickname as you go along? And I say that in respect to a guy like Bill. You said after the game Sunday night that the Staples Easy Button, Buffalo Wild Wings, the Football Whisperer. Do you add to Dollar Bill as you go on?